Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. This time we're doing the SH Figuarts Avengers Endgame Iron Spider Final Battle Edition. We already know that SH Figuarts did an Iron Spider. It was okay, but that was a pre-production one. And in retrospect, compared to what we have now, it actually kind of sucks. So, without further ado, let's jump into this figure. Now, as we know, I said previously, Bandai did an Iron Spider. It is trash compared to this one. We're talking about in terms of color, in terms of the Waldo legs, everything which is underprepared and undervalued in many different ways. Then we got the Mafex one, which fixed a lot of the issues, but also caused some in its own wake, having a ton of QC issues. So that was another issue. Now we have the SHF Part 2, I should say, or a Redux or a 2.0, whatever it is you want to call it, and now we're getting to this. So, let's get to it. Through the process of them kind of just doing a bunch of different Spider-Man and getting up to the part where we talk about how we like our Spider-Man. We have the arm joint issue with the SHF Spider-Man being so small. This is we're getting to a point where we're finally getting a correction to a lot of those issues, and this is why I really enjoy this Spider-Man. It is a culmination of everything that happened before, getting that feedback, taking it, and going, hey, how can we improve? And they did it. So, let's jump to it. Also, I want to point out, because of COVID, this is actually, I believe it's like a month late, and that definitely does affect people and how they go about things. This is not an excuse. It's just saying, like, if Bandai is late on something, which normally they're not known for, it's pretty crazy. Now, we're going to get into how this guy looks. Now, I think the paint apps on this guy is absolutely fantastic. They added that tint of blue to the eyes. We have that nice metallic shine. Now, Mafex was the first ones to do it, and they made it look utterly fantastic. I gotta say, Bandai copying them and going that route was a great choice. As you can see, our paint job just looks absolutely fantastic. Mine has two paint issues, one being right here in the crotch because the glue kind of settled in the wrong spot, so there's a white little notch there. That does not bother me personally, but I know it's something that I should point out, so I did. And the other is a paint issue on the hand from rubbing up against the plastic that he's packaged in. So that's a different issue for a different day. And I got honest to say, I really like the way this guy looks. He shines under the light. He looks actually metallic, as if he's wearing an iron suit. It pops. It really does work. And the color contrast that they chose really works out here. The blues on the gauntlets, the sides here on the waist, and right here in the eyes. So now we're gonna get into my favorite part, which is articulation. Now this is where it gets really fun for me, because we're gonna talk about our head going up and down, and whether or not this guy can actually move like a Spider-Man. As you can see, he can look up, can look really far down. We can do our tilting side to side, right? Next up, we have our arm that goes all the way up. Can we get a little further in? No, that's because there's an armor part here on the arm that won't allow it to go further up. But we finally do get an actual bicep swivel, which is something we've asked on Spider-Man that didn't include that inner bicep swivel, which it also does have. So he can actually move his arms two different ways, which is on the inner bicep swivel and the outer one. Then we have our double jointed arm, which extends all the way in. Also want to note that this Spider-Man is much slimmer than what we're used to, and we're going to get into that in size comparison. We actually have our butterfly joint, which actually folds a little bit forward, not crazy forward, but because of that inner bicep joint, we actually get a lot of extra movement. So there is a lot of room for improvement that happened here, and it did. As far as our waist goes, we can actually go really far back. Again, like with all in most SHF, even though you'll get that articulation, you're going to get that gap here. This will cause it from having the least amount of actual paint rub. Going forward, we get the same thing. We actually get that nice forward crunch. As you can see here, really nice going forward. Again, with the gaps though, so that's gonna cause some people some problems who don't prefer that aesthetic. As far as our legs go, we can actually go, let's tuck them forward. So we have our movable butt cheeks yet again. This is actually a new thing that actually, it surprised me. So we have our movable butt cheeks, and this is gonna help you with your articulation or hinder you depending on how you wanna do it. So as you see, I tuck back, we actually get a lot of movement going forward. If you don't tuck that back, you can't go that far forward. See how it stops? So tuck your butt cheeks back and then you can go forward, right? We actually have a thigh swivel as well. And we have our double jointed knee, which is pretty patented. It's cool, especially on the Spider-Man. Then we have our super generous ankle pivot, as if we were on a Marvel Legends peg. So we can go just about any other way. And then we have toe pivot. Toe pivot's always nice, especially on the Spider-Man. So this guy actually is pretty posable, and there's no issues really there. This is going to be one of those things that as a Spider-Man, you're definitely going to want, you're going to want to use, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you can do all the things a spider can do, as you can see here. So without further ado now, we're going to jump into his accessories. And the reason why that is because we're going to talk about what's new and different on him, things like that. So let me take a second to pose him up. Let's get a cool spider-like pose. My torso came out because I was having a little too much fun posing. So let me try to get that back on. Oh, actually, this is something to talk about because I didn't notice this until just now. The waist joint is actually at the forefront, which actually is going to give you that extra bit of swivel. So it's actually pretty cool to see that actually happen. Didn't think about that in many other ways. And let's see if it, yep, and it does pop back in with ease. So I don't have too much to worry about. So that's actually pretty cool. So now we're going to jump into our accessories as I get Spider-Man kind of posed up. Yep. So let's jump. Without further ado, now we're jumping into accessories. First thing I want to talk about is the head sculpt. Now, the head sculpt on this guy is meh. I don't think that it was done really well. It is better than their previous one, but it is not one that I very much like. I still think, I personally, think that Mandible Studio has the better head sculpt, but this one, I definitely see what they were going for. It does look like him. Is it their best representation? No. You do get a nice neck peg that shows it uncovered with the mask. This is also removable as well. There's a peg under. So if you have the Mandible head, it does fit on. I'm actually gonna just show you. You don't even need a peg to, it just fits in. So if you want to use this one, it's totally fine. Looks pretty good. Then you actually get extra set of eyes. These ones are going to come packaged in. So you'll get another set of eyes. I guess these ones are slightly different. These ones have a little bit more of the scope. You have the kill mode eyes and you have the squinting eyes. So you can mix and match them as you please. I believe kill mode is going to stick with kill mode though. Unless you do the glitching thing, you know. Then as far as webbing, you'll get a new set of webbing. This is, I believe, from the scene when he webbed the gauntlet to get it to come towards him and fought over it. You can also use this in any other case if you want to use it for bad guys and stuff. You get a dedicated set of hands for this. As you can see, you'll get 2 hands plugged together that fit onto this part. You kind of drive in there. They look really good. Then you're going to get your same web staples you normally get. So you'll get your web swinging one, which is clear and not white. You're going to get your short web shooter. You'll get 2 actually this time, finally, right? You'll get 2 long web shootings. So I actually enjoyed that they actually did that. I'm happy. Symmetrics, right? Oh, actually you get 2 short web shooters. So finally, we're no longer being stingy and giving us 1 of each. We get 2 of each. So I'm very happy with that. And I mean, like, it's not that they didn't do it before. It's just finally you get 2 and 2 in one package and nothing else to worry about. Then we're going to get a peg piece, and I'm going to go into this in a second, so I'm going to leave that right there. Then you get your staple hands, which are going to be your wall crawling hands / action hands. Use these for what you want. You have your signature hands that you got from before. These are now back, and I believe these are for saying hello or saying hi. Then you have your web swinging hands, which you'll have 1 and 1 of each. So they kept it pretty symmetrical this time. And then you have your standard thwip web shooting hands. Now, mine's has a paint app issue on the left hand for my web shooting ones, which just fell because they're so tiny. So as you can see, we have a small paint chip. Again, this does not bother me. Personally, when I photograph, I'll try to hide it the best I can, obviously, because I don't know how to use Photoshop at all. But yeah, it happens. Everybody has a QC issue here and there. But that's just one that I want to make sure I showed you guys. Now, we're going to get into the Waldo arms, because this is where it gets pretty crazy. So let's actually remove that back port. There's going to be a piece now. So you actually just remove it. I'm just going to lift up the tab. I wanted to be gentle with it. Make sure I don't break my own things. And then we get a set of Waldo arms that look pretty good. I have not tested these out because I wanted to make sure I tested it out on camera just to see how strong they were and see what happens. So yeah, these are our Waldo arms straight up on him. They plug in pretty strong. They hold pretty well, which is good. They seem to not add a lot of weight. And they seem to be sturdy, which is what I was really hoping for. So they can pop out easy. Make sure you don't break it because this peg is actually really small. So please keep that in mind when trying to use yours. Make sure you do not just outright snap that off. I almost did it on mine, but it seems to be plugging in pretty well, staying there. And the issue is pointing out that it might just be gumming up. So yeah, these are pretty strong. They hold up. There is no real joint issue. And they fold at 1, 2, 3 points. So you can actually get these guys to fold up at 3 points and fold out. They have a joint that rotates all the way around. And they don't seem to be wishy-washy, which is what was the worrisome issue about the Mafex ones, because they became an issue where they constantly broke. And it was kind of annoying because I could not get mine replaced, which kind of bummed me out. And I bought a lot of those Spider-Man. I know a lot of people who don't know, but I did. I bought a lot of those Spider-Man because I'm a big Spider-Man fan. So we have our, also, in case you want to just plug him into the back port, you can plug this in. And that's why I left that here, so that way you can plug it into the back port. You cannot do it with the Waldo arms in place, unfortunately, but you can do it if you're going to just have him web swinging and doing normal stuff without those arms. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to jump into the last part, which is pretty dope and doesn't technically involve Spider-Man. So this is the Nano Gauntlet. And it looks pretty good. When you compare it up to the Marvel Legends one, which can only be a closed fist and can attach to only Hulk, right? This guy is technically actually bigger. It looks better. And just has that nice metallic paint job. They really outdid themselves on this one. I really like how it goes. And there are individual articulated fingers. The reason why that is because in case you wanted to do just the holding the gauntlet out as this, fine, cool. Or if you wanted to do the snapping part, guess what? You can. So if you wanted to mimic the snapping, you can do that as well. Now, to show it what can it fit on, we'll show you right now. Let's actually get into that. So now I have 4 large characters here. We're gonna size them up and see how they work well with the gauntlet, just to have fun. First things first, let's do your main man Thanos, because obviously he wanted that gauntlet pretty badly. And yes, it does fit on Thanos. Doesn't get in the way. He can be seen with it pretty well. And it doesn't hinder his articulation because it actually cuts right where that point of the joint is. So as you can see here, cuts up and down. I'm gonna have to raise this up. I thought I would be in a good spot. I forgot how small Spider-Man is. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, this looks good. This holds pretty well. For the gauntlet too, just in case you didn't know, there is a point where you can plop it in. And I believe that is strictly meant for this guy. So let's try him next. Yep, plugs right into there. So in case you want to do the scene with the Hulk, again, totally possible now. Fits right onto this version. So let's pop this off. Now that we've knocked you out of the way. Next up, we're going to do the SHF Infinity War Hulk. And while it doesn't pop right in, it does fit on his arm. So with some sticky tack, I guarantee you'll be fine. In case you want to do the Infinity War Hulk, in case you were disappointed with Endgame Hulk, right? So it does fit on there, but it does not pop in just perfectly. See, it'll fall right off. Last but not least, just an honorable mention, just to see if it fits, we have the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Smart Hulk. And while it does not peg in, it does fit over the arm. So in case you do have this guy and you don't have the SHF, you can use it on your Smart Hulk. Yeah. Let's actually move that joint forward so you actually get a little bit more range, and boom. The big guy can hold the gauntlet as well. So you actually have a lot of choices here over the cool things that you can do. Now, guys, we're gonna jump into size comparisons as well as Iron Spider comparisons, so you guys can be happy seeing how you would want to pick out yours. So now when we talk about size comparison with the Iron Spiders, I believe the Mafex is going to be the tallest. The Final Battle SHF sits right in the middle, and the first SHF is the smallest. Now, the first SHF, while I like it, it was sturdy. It had tons of issues with its accuracy. That's just true for the matter. And that was because they actually didn't know what they were getting into. That's why we have tons of problems with that now. While I like it still has no candle to either the Mafex or the Final Battle one. The Final Battle one, I do love its coloring over the Mafex. And the Mafex one overall has a better plastic feel than the first SHF, but not than the second one than me. While I do love Mafex, the color is fading on mine. And I have several ones, and all the colors fading on theirs. So I don't know if that's me or if it's a Mafex issue, but I just have to point it out and let you know it is what it is. While I do adore the Mafex, I really, really like it. I gotta say the Final Battle one is probably the better bang for your buck here that you get, because you get the better Waldos, you get the better QC, and you get the Nano Gauntlet. while those of you who still enjoy the Mafex, if you still want that one or you prefer it over the SHF, just know that Mafex is also doing a version of the Final Battle one. So if you prefer that one, you can totally get that one and you'll actually be in a really good spot. So this one goes down to preference as always, and my preference definitely is going to be the SHF. While I do really, really like the Mafex one, but the SHF kind of just did it. They took it when they added the extra stuff. But again, Mafex is doing the same. So who's to know how I'm going to feel when that one releases, right? Now we're going to jump into how he sizes up with a bunch of other characters. So let's do that. First things first, let's make the Iron family happen by using Iron Man, War Machine, Iron Patriot, as well as Rescue. So here we are with SHF Iron Man. And as you can see, Spider-Man is significantly smaller. Let me get my light a little. There we go. Here he is up with the War Machine Mark 6. So you can see Spider-Man is significantly smaller, but he kind of fits in. He's supposed to be a child here. Then we have Rescue, which I need to review her as well. Actually, I reviewed her. I need to finish these photos. So here we are with Rescue. So let's slide everybody over just a little bit. And then we have our SHF Iron family. And just as an honorable mention for the final battle, here's Iron Patriot armor, right? This guy can't really stand too well for me. I don't know why. So as you can see, the Iron family looks pretty good. So that's actually really, really nice. Next up, we're going to compare him to some other guys. So let's get into those size comparisons. Here he is with SHF Cap. Here he is with the Mafex Thor. And if you know how he looks next to Mafex Thor, you should pretty much be able to guess the SHF as well. Here we are with the Mafex Black Panther as well, too. Get a lot of good comparisons in there. When I get my Endgame Captain Marvel, I'll compare him in her video because I don't have her just yet. Let's stand you up as straight as possible. So as you can see, still smaller, but he looks like he fits in pretty well. Next up, we have, let's actually do SHF Kamen Rider Kuga. Then we have an Articulated Icons Ninja. We have a 1000 Toys Synthetic Carb. Ooh, let's pick your head up. And then we're gonna do a next set when I get some more space. But yeah, Spider-Man is definitely smaller, being at the teen body, and he was missing for 5 years in between that time gap. So we have what we have, and I think he fits in pretty well, just as well as the Mafex. Last but not least, let's compare him to a 6-inch retro Spider-Man, which is an adult Spider-Man from the 616. We have a Lightning Collection Red Ranger. Ooh, almost fell, almost. Then we have a Mezco Me. Yeah, I think he fits in just fine with just about everyone. And just in case you want to do your multiverse, I think you'll be in good, like really good hands. Last but not least, just in case you want to compare to that older body we have on the Far From Home, you can see that there are still major differences between the Iron Spider and the Far From Home. So they've developed a brand new body based off the feedback that they got before and made something even better. All in all, it's still a matter of preference. You guys get to choose what you want. There are plenty of choices out there. As always, guys, I hope you found it informative. And as always, please be good, do good, drink your water. Later.